G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user Throwaway9873, titled, Am I the asshole for sending my younger sister money against my girlfriend's wishes? My younger sister, female 25, is working towards getting her master's degree in New York. While she loves the city and school, she hates how expensive everything has become. She does work part-time, but it simply isn't enough. My parents, male 77 and female 73, have been sending her money each month, but since they recently retired, they've had to cut back. To fill the gap, my brother, male 28, and I, male 32, have begun sending some money to our sister from time to help her with rent. I have a well-paying job and a close relationship with my sister, so I'm happy to help where I can. However, my girlfriend, female 30, has expressed her dissatisfaction with the arrangement. We've been saving up to put a down payment on a house in the future, and my girlfriend believes that my financial contributions to my sister are hindering our progress. Yesterday, which happened to be the day that I usually send my sister money, girlfriend told me that we needed to reduce expenses, and one suggestion she made for me was to no longer send money to my sister. She believes that my sister needs to learn how to manage her money better and that my brother, male 28, should contribute more. I told her about how I feel a responsibility towards my sister and how my brother doesn't make as much as I do, and while she did acknowledge that, she then said that I was financially naive and said she doesn't want me to be taken advantage of. I was kind of disappointed hearing this, as I made the conscientious decision to help my sister and wasn't falling for some sort of scam. The conversation ended because we both had to go to work, but she told me to not send anything until we further discussed this. During my lunch break at work, I proceeded to send my sister some money and told my girlfriend about this over dinner. She told me that she was disappointed. At this point, I was getting a little annoyed and responded by saying I was not willing to compromise my current arrangement with my sister. Girlfriend got upset with this and left the table. Am I the asshole? Edit 1. I make about $15.5 thousand per month and have been putting away $4,000 to $6,000 each month towards a future house. Girlfriend makes about $7,000 per month, currently saves around $1,000 a month for the house. She said she'll contribute more once her student loans are paid off. I pay for rent and utilities, girlfriend pays for bulk of groceries. I started sending my sister $1,500 per month since my parents retired. Edit 2. Sister pays around $2,800 per month in rent and $350 a month in transportation. I contribute $1,500 per month, brother pays $750 per month, parents pay $500 per month. Our mother was terrified of sister living in New York City on her own and only agreed if she lived in a nicer area and had a car. I guess my opinion on the situation is, oh my god, your sister pays a lot in rent and oh my god, you make a lot of money. Also, I can see where your girlfriend is coming from here, but it seems like a rock and a hard place kind of situation, and your sister would be forced out into a not nice area of New York City against your parents' wishes if you were to cut off your financial support. Again, reiterating that it's my personal opinion, I think it's best that you do keep helping your sister out because you do have the means, you make a crap load of money, it doesn't seem like it's unsustainable. You're welcome to do whatever you want with your money, and if your girlfriend has a problem with that, seems like she needs to go more in depth and find a middle ground with you. Otherwise, I think you're not the asshole in this situation. In the comments, Exotic Mango 2768 says, do you and your girlfriend share finances? If not, then you are not the asshole. Otherwise, you are the asshole. Edit, definitely not the asshole. OP does not share an account with a girlfriend, so he is spending his own money. She does not get to dictate how he spends his money, as long as shared expenses are covered, and they are. OP replies, we don't have a shared bank account. I pay rent and utilities, she pays about 80% of the groceries while I cover about 20%. Well then one option is for your girlfriend to make or save more money since you are paying rent and utilities. She has balls, I will give you that, to say to the person who is paying her way that you should stop helping your sister. Not the asshole. Your support for your sister is your choice and is reasonable considering your income and expenses. Don't buy a house with someone you are not married to without consulting an attorney, especially if you will be contributing more to the down payment and mortgage payments. Don't get married without talking to a lawyer about prenuptial agreement. I tell anyone getting married to get one nowadays. I've not been married, but I've seen lots of divorces. The few with one made things so much easier. There's a lot of destructive divorces and lots of things like pets and kids being used to just hurt the other person. Think of it as simply, what was yours before marriage is yours after, and they wrote out vehicles, 401k balances, bank stuff, and a few other things. They did get divorced, but it stopped a lot of he said, she said. Stopped destroying each other's things out of spite. Not the asshole. Girlfriend doesn't have to agree. It's your money. Be very careful purchasing a home without very clear agreements on finances. Girlfriend is a partner, not a parent to tell you what to do then punish you when you don't comply. Not only that, when considering his salary, he is only sending his sister $1,500 a month. She is very controlling over finances that do not impact her in any way. But it does impact her because the more he pays, the less that she has to. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but the way girlfriend demonized his family is very problematic. Not the asshole, but massive red flags getting thrown around your girlfriend, my man. It would be one thing if you were sending so much money that it was affecting your own financial status, or if your sister was lying or taking advantage of you and or your brother, or if your girlfriend was also contributing money and no longer wanted to, or if you were sending shared money. But none of those things are an issue, and literally your sister is just trying to exist in an expensive city, and her extremely loving and generous brothers are choosing to support her, because they can and they want to. That's really beautiful. You should really consider buying a house and continuing a relationship with someone who prioritizes her own expenses so far over yours. She's seriously overstepping and disrespecting. Unless she's not telling you about some hidden fear or worry here that explains her bizarre self-centered stance, what she's trying to force you into is selfish, uncaring, and just icky. And now, onto the update. So my girlfriend and I had a long talk after work. It didn't go well. To summarize, tensions escalated during the conversation. I told her that I planned to continue helping my sister until she completes her degree, and afterward, she would either start working or move back to our parents' home until she finds a job. However, my girlfriend expressed her belief that my sister, and my whole family, is manipulating me and thinks I'm naive enough to send her money regardless of how she uses it. I started to feel increasingly annoyed and defensive by her accusations and asserted that it's my money and I have the right to spend it as I see fit. I then, stupidly, said that if she really wanted us to buy a house, she should have saved more and cut back on expenses like nice shoes, clothes, and purses. At this point, she became properly angry and declared that she couldn't stay in the same house as me, and said that she would be going to her friend's house. Before leaving, she said, "Call me when you stop thinking like an effing idiot." Before I could even think, I replied, "I won't be calling." I feel that I may have irreparably damaged our relationship. Edit 4, updates. I want to express my thanks to all of you for sharing your perspectives and insights. Your input is truly appreciated. Following the fight with girlfriend, I reached out to my brother to confide in him about what had happened. His take was pretty optimistic. However, he advised me to stand firm in my position while also remaining open to fully hearing out my girlfriend and considering the possibility of reconciliation. He cautioned against contacting girlfriend's friend to ask about her whereabouts, as it may smell of desperation, and instead said that he would come over, as he lives about an hour away, so we could spend some time together over a movie and dinner. At this point, I feel drained and numb. It's been a long day, and to be honest, I just want it over. Edit 5, updates. My brother came by and bought dinner. We've been watching The Dark Knight. I don't know why he chose that. Since. Still haven't heard from girlfriend or her friend. For those wondering, I'm a chemical engineer, and girlfriend has been paying about $2,500 per month to pay off her student loans. Edit 6, weekend update. Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone for responding to my original post. Your support and insight means a great deal to me. I also want to provide some additional context about my relationship with my girlfriend. We started dating in January of last year, officially became a couple by the end of March, and she moved in with me in May. In hindsight, I must admit that the pace of our relationship was driven by my infatuation rather than the development of a deep connection. Her fun-loving nature and beauty had an influence on me, causing me to overlook the misalignment of our values. Regarding girlfriend's relationship with my family and friends, she seemed to get along with everyone, although I feel that she never liked my brother. My mother made significant efforts to make girlfriend feel welcome, likely due to her desire for grandchildren. On the other hand, my relationship with my girlfriend's friends and parents was different. I couldn't help but feel that they saw girlfriend as being out of my league for some reason, and some of her friends even told me how lucky I should consider myself to have girlfriend in my life. There were also other warning signs that I chose to ignore, and I want to share them now. Girlfriend wanted to impose restrictions on how often I could visit my family throughout the year. Less than a month after moving in with me, girlfriend leased a BMW, contradicting her previous statements about wanting to pay off her student loans quickly. At the time, I found it strange, but I didn't raise any objections, thinking that girlfriend deserved to treat herself after years of schooling. Over the following months, she continued splurging on expensive clothes, shoes, purses, coats, and more. Looking back, I doubt she was completely honest about how she was managing her student loan payments. Girlfriend regularly urged me to distance myself from some of my friends, citing reasons like them being bad influences or me spending too much time with them. When I mentioned that her friends didn't seem to think highly of me, she shrugged it off, claiming they only wanted what was best for her. Fast forward to today, as most people recommended, I kept my word and didn't call girlfriend. Instead, early this morning, at around 5 a.m., she texted me, suggesting that we meet at a local cafe to discuss our future. I replied with a simple, sure. The atmosphere felt tense, but we did exchange brief curt greetings, before we dove straight into the conversation. She began by expressing her hurt over my failure to call her, repeatedly emphasizing that I needed to be reasonable and prioritize our relationship above all else. I noticed her consistent use of you instead of us or we. When I pointed this out, she claimed that her initiating this meeting was proof of her commitment and that if I were truly committed, I would have called her the moment that she left. At that moment, I chose to remain silent, and I believe she interpreted my silence as her winning the argument. She then shifted the conversation to finances, bluntly stating that our best course of action was to ensure that neither of us carried any debt. According to her, the only way to achieve this was with me to start paying some of her loans. I insisted that this shouldn't interfere with my agreement to support my sister. That was if I did agree to pay her loans, but girlfriend asserted that it would impede our progress as a couple. I argued that supporting my family and progressing our relationship should not be mutually exclusive. In response, girlfriend declared that if we were both serious, I needed to make her the center focus. She then added that even if she did agree to allow me to continue supporting my sister, it wouldn't end there, as these things never do. With this, she then began inquiring about my parents, pointing out their advanced age, and suggesting that they would soon require regular support. Without hesitation, I firmly reiterated my stance, that if my parents ever needed any form of assistance, I wouldn't hesitate to offer it. She followed up by asking, even if they wanted to live with you? To which I replied, yes. She pressed further, asking, even if I said they can't? Once again, I responded, yes. At that moment, girlfriend stood up, saying that she was disappointed to see what kind of person I've become, and how she and her friends had always sensed that there was something off about me. In response, I stated, if you believed that, you shouldn't have moved in. She was unable to offer a retort to that. She then began making remarks about how it was only a matter of time before I would beg her to take me back. I firmly told her that the only thing I would be asking was for her to take belongings and return my keys. She tossed the keys at me, and before making several comments, asserting that she didn't need me, that I had wasted her time, and how greatly I disappointed her. I said, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm no longer obligated to listen to you complain. And with that, she stormed off. About an hour later, I got a text from one of her friends saying that they were coming with our girlfriend tomorrow to get her stuff. I'm hoping that once they do, I can put this whole thing behind me. In the comments, Time Cover says, wow, she really pulled out him paying off her loans when she was already on shaky ground with the sister thing. She was with him for the money and she got too greedy and revealed it. And they've only been with each other for 1.5 years? I could expect this conversation after 5 years of dating, but that girl had him emotionally chained and ready to run his bank account dry after only 16 months? Well, thank goodness he cut short his vacation to the south of Pants and came to his senses. On a different note, girlfriend declared that if we were both serious, I needed to make her center focus? I'm jealous. I wish I had balls this big. So, what OP is saying is, ex-girlfriend expected him to fully fund her above her means lifestyle while she does nothing to contribute. Therefore, he has to cut off any and everything that may cost him her money. Yikes. She thought she found herself a cash cow to milk dry and was shocked when things didn't go her way. I mean, it seems like the only thing they ever talked about was money, as if they're married with 10 kids and need to budget. Well, once again, good riddance to good trash. Not saying she's a gold digger, but I think she was one. Honestly, OP, you are much better off without someone like this in your life, and your bank account will also be much better off from this point forward. That's all I have to say on this one. I want to know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. Our next post is by user LozvaBoy, titled, Going on my first ever date tomorrow, I need advice. I'm 17 male and going on my first ever date with a beautiful girl that I met in college. Unfortunately, I'm very shy and took a shot in the dark when asking her to go on a date with me, so I'm not sure how this is going to go because I never thought she'd say yes. We're going to meet up tomorrow at around 7 p.m. I don't know what people usually wear, say, or even do on dates. I'm thinking of bringing flowers for her, but instead of a bouquet of roses, I'm going to bring a single rose. As I searched on the internet, and it said that it means more to a girl if you bring a single rose. Please, does anyone have any advice for me so I don't look like an idiot? And any suggestions on what even to talk about? In the comments, bringing a rose is very sweet and she might really like it, but she's more likely to think that that's a bit too much, so I'd advise against it. Good luck on the date though. And OP says, thank you. I was thinking it might come off too strong, Lamau. I'll hold that one back. I think that's for the best. You seem like a sweet kid though. I'm rooting for you. Eternal Moment Cult says, there is nothing to say or do. If you're comfortable and confident, the saying and doing will flow naturally. Lift heavy weights and do power poses before the date. And OP replies, lol, I'll keep that in mind. I do feel confident, it's just that sometimes I feel like my mind gets blank and I lose my train of thought so quickly. Hopefully that doesn't happen tomorrow. Bicep123 says, no gifts, just show up. Make sure you showered and smell nice. Make sure you have a nice dessert place scoped out for after dinner. Always have a plan. It's not romantic if you have to look up on your phone where to go next if she wants to extend the date. And OP replies, perfect. There's a nice little spot for desserts 10 minutes away. I got everything planned in terms of where we're going, it's just conversation that I'm a bit rocky on. And now, on to the update. So I posted about going on my first date a while ago, now I'm in love with this girl. I, 17 male, never thought I'd be in love like this. I thought this kind of love only existed in movies. I love everything about this girl. She's beautiful, smart, elegant, funny, loyal, and honest. I can't love anyone more. I love how she confides in me with all her problems. She can be herself around me. When I was young, I used to dream about girls being interested in me. I used to dream that a girl would look my way and see me as desirable. I was young looking at girls like he needed to be some sort of god to get them. Now I've got a girlfriend that I believe would become wifey. I swear I'm going to work so damn hard to make sure that I make something of myself. I do a good job showing that I'm not obsessed with her, but truthfully, I'm bloody whipped. Can't wait to propose to her when I get a little older. Rebecca, I love you. Lol, I know this is a weird off my chest, but I just needed to write this. Now in the comments, Fire Sculpting says, quote, when I was young. Who wants to break it to him? Me, a 28-year-old, now feels ancient because of that. Bruh, no one warned me just how old you start to feel in your 20s. I'm looking at all these teenagers, and I'm just baffled that that was me a few years ago. I feel like a grandma half the time. I scolded a teenager in a grocery store the other day for trying to climb on a wobbly shelf. No clue who that kid was, just instantly went into nanny mode and said very firmly, "Are you trying to break your neck? Get down from there." Of course, my 5'2" ass looked down the center aisle and asked an employee for a grabber or a ladder. Sat there with them till they had their item, and I walked out of that store and suddenly was just like, huh? Why did I do that? Why was I acting like that kid's mom? But yeah, PSA to all the high schoolers out there that will strive to mature in their 20s, you are gonna feel old. I'm sorry. I work with 18 to 22-year-olds as a rule, and they never seem so keen on life advice, lol. To be fair, I wasn't usually into it at that age either. Their problems are so simple too. Communicate how you feel, your wants and desires. But that's too complicated, so instead, they keep playing emotional games. They are always shocked that I watch SpongeBob too. Like, young blood, I'm 32. I was literally a kid when SpongeBob came out originally. I think the point that I really started to view 18 to 24-year-olds as woefully young and inexperienced was around 28 or so for myself. I think the main issue with the disconnect between the older generations and the younger generation is that at that age, a lot of young people, myself included, are really insecure about their sense of adulthood, if that tracks. It's a weird sort of age range where you're expected to behave like an adult, but hardly anyone is willing you to give the respect an adult gets. Dependent on your personal situation, but I think it's still a common experience to not really being taken seriously or made to feel like your voice counts for anything, even well into your 20s. It sucks because I feel like a lot of young people have genuinely worked hard to get where they are. You are still at the point where there are very few things that you truly own. Nearly everything you only have because someone else, your parents or adults in your family, put in the foundational work to allow you to get it, but a lot of hard work was still inputted on your end to earn these things. When you give life advice, I think it hugely helps to be as straightforward and as genuinely open and honest as you would be with any adult. I doubt there's really anything you can tell an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old that they're not prepared to take on given the right circumstances. You knew how it was to be confused, to have to stumble awkwardly into adulthood with a bombardment of often condescending and occasionally unhelpful, if not harmful advice that some adults gave you. I remember getting advice about a breakup from my much older and wiser, fully adult brother that ended up stretching out the agony months longer than it needed to last if I had just done the opposite of what he recommended to me. It happens. We're fallible, even as adults in our 30s and 40s and so on. Just keep that feeling in mind when you communicate with young people. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.